Good morning and welcome to the 2024 edition of the Amshova National Classic. We find ourselves in KwaZulu-Natal, the Kingdom of the Zulu. Durban is where the race will finish. This is not where it will start. With me, Jeremy Martins, winner of 8 UCI races, and we'll get a chatting about what we can expect to see en route, who the favourites may be, both men and women, at least when it comes to the elite cyclists. Of course, this is a race for all ages. It's for families, youngsters alike, and certainly brings with it a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere and a lot of anticipation. But as I mentioned, this is not the starting point, rather the end of the race. It all gets going in Howick. That is where the ceremonial ride would have already started. And as I mentioned, it is only ceremonial because not the entirety of the route is able to be available and deemed safe enough for the riders. So the main race will get going in front of the City Hall in Pietermaritzburg. The weather, unfortunately, has taken a turn in the last 24 hours. It was wonderful when we arrived in the province, but as you can well see, the conditions are going to make things slightly more tricky for the riders. But I still think the spectators, the fans, will come out and support. It's a wonderful race. The atmosphere here, absolutely palpable. And it's so great to see the camaraderie of the riders.
Yeah, it's a great day. Yeah, you know, for a bike race, it's a great day for a bike race, but unfortunately the weather is not playing ball. But yeah, the guys had a rerun, or they had a look at it last year, so the guys are familiar with the rain and the conditions.
Yeah, certainly, and I'm sure they'll adapt. They'll also adapt strategy as well, and we'll talk about that as we continue on, and also talk about just the strategies of the different teams and how they intend to play things out as they continue down the course.
Yeah, definitely. The teams will go into the race with a clear and definite plan. Some riders or some teams will want to force an issue, try and get a 5 to 7 man breakaway up the road with their contenders. Other teams will try and play for a bunch sprint, kind of keep the bunch all together. But yeah, we'll only find out within the next hour to an hour and a half once the riders kick off in Maritzburg.
That's right, and of course, as I mentioned, Pietermaritzburg earlier, it is the start of the race, and as I mentioned as well earlier, that Howick holds a particular interest to this, and it all gets going at the Nelson Mandela capture site. It is something to see. If, as a South African, you've not had the opportunity, do make sure that you make your way sometime over the next little bit. It is an incredibly important part of our history as well. The Nelson Mandela capture site is located in the town of Howick. It's the site where Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, the anti-apartheid revolutionary and former president of South Africa, was arrested on the 5th of August 1962, having been on the run for 17 months. On that day, this otherwise ordinary piece of road along the 103 took on profound consequence. Mandela just played a clandestine visit to ANC President Chief Albert Luthuli to report back on his African odyssey and request support in calling for an armed struggle. And it was at this unassuming spot that Mandela was finally captured and arrested. The site provides visitors with a deep understanding of the historical context surrounding the arrest, what happened on that fateful day, as well as the apartheid era, as you can well see from some of the displays that are available to see. The centre itself blends the old and the new and is set in the exquisite surrounds of the breathtaking beauty of the KwaZulu-Natal Midlands. Well, the actual monument itself comprises 50 steel columns. It symbolizes his reappearance on the same spot on the 50th anniversary of that fateful day. Siyakhumbula, we remember. And confirmation then of the route map, as I mentioned, you can see it started off in Howick, that there being Midmar, where the famous mile is swum. As I mentioned, this is not a competitive part of the race, but certainly is one that will be memorable for those who are riding.
Yeah, definitely. The road from Howick to Pietermaritzburg takes on some beautiful scenery. The Natal Midlands is known for a lot of undulations, nice roads, but I think this morning the riders that are taking on the ceremonial ride will get a bit wet on their way down to the official start in Pietermaritzburg.
And it's got, I know, those very long downhills. It is very, very windy, and I suppose the authorities had to make a call. It just wasn't going to be safe enough for everybody to participate. The City Hall is where the elite riders will get going, and from the word go, Jeremy, we went up this route yesterday, and it looks like it gets competitive. A couple of uphills right in Pietermaritzburg before you leave the city.
Yes, as the riders turn right off Alexander Road into the start of the build-up to Fox Hill, the road definitely goes up. There's a couple of steeper sections at the bottom, but the road generally goes up and up and up and up. Yeah, it's always going to be flat and fast and hard. You know, we'll touch and elaborate on it a bit more later on how the teams are going to specifically play it out. Some teams are going to want to force the issue early on. Some teams are going to want to play defensively.
I'm particularly fascinated with how it, for the most part, mirrors the routes of the Comrades Marathon. And what a lot of people would assume is during the down run that it's all downhill. It is not.
No. By no stretch of the imagination. From 40 kilometers to go from the bottom of Botha's Hill, there we've got essentially 700 meters of descent to the finish line. So the second half of the race is very flat and fast. However, getting to that point is by no means flat. You're going doing a lot of climbs. You've got Nchanga, Botha's Hill. That's definitely going to provide a challenge for some riders, and for some riders a platform to lay out their final strategic maneuvers.
Yeah, certainly some tight turns. It looks treacherous for the most part when you go down Botha's Hill. You even feel your ears pop as you get closer towards sea level as well. How dangerous is it?
The Fields Hill, it is quite fast, very flat, very open. The guys will go very quick. But I think a very, very dangerous and strategic part for all teams is going to be the descent of Nchanga. As you descend to Nchanga, immediately you go up to Botha's Hill. So I think in the middle of the race, that's going to be a very exciting part to watch.
Yeah, and I was very interested in the types of speeds that they might generate coming down those long stretches as well. Quite high speeds. What are we thinking? 70, 80 pace power?
I reckon some of the front guys, they really want to gas it. You're knocking on 90k an hour.
Oh.
So that's incredibly quick.
It is incredibly quick, and as you can see, into the city, and as we get closer towards the Moses Mabhida Stadium, which is where you find us at the moment. This point where we are is one of the registration points, but it's not the only one. Howick was also the scene for a lot of the registration, and there was a lot of song and dance. We are in the kingdom of the Zulu, and as you can well expect, the spirit of the people is going to come to the fore, and it certainly was over the last few days. Registration running until as late as 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon in Howick, and as you can see, I mentioned the capture site. Absolutely wonderful that the organizers were able to make use of the museum itself for registration. I think it's a special moment. That's obviously for those who weren't able to be in the city of Durban to complete their registration. I think there was also another registration site in Pietermaritzburg around the city hall as well. So a wonderful bit of organization, but they've done this a couple of times. I've mentioned it's the 38th edition.
Yeah, 38th edition. Andy and Melissa and their team, they've done a fantastic job. Every year at the Amshova Classic, it's known as, it's one of the biggest races on the national calendar, and everybody loves to come down to Durban for this very special event.
Yeah, and it's great to see the music, the song, the dance, because it is a mass participation event, and it's not just about the elite riders, though we will be shining a spotlight on it, and it's great to see youngsters, the young dancers also getting onto bicycles and testing themselves out as well. So that was fantastic to see. But as mentioned, there are some really good names, big names that we're going to look forward to, and we'll start delving into those elite athletes after this. The start of everything today will be that ceremonial ride where they are getting ready from Howick and will be riding into Pietermaritzburg. And those that do start here and complete the entire route, I think will be completing 136. Oh, there you go, a nice aerial shot. And that's cleared up enough for us to get the drone up. And this is in Howick, the start of the ceremonial race at the Nelson Mandela capture site, a historic monument. It's a story that one couldn't script any better. And as you can see, they are rolling out. And as I mentioned, there's not going to be a high pace on this one. It is all ceremonial, but it is still wonderful that the organizers were able to include so much more. It's a big difference, but well done for managing to complete it on foot and in the saddle as well. I did mention, and we did see a little while ago, Letsego Zulu out at the start in front of the Pietermaritzburg City Hall, and I did mention that she'll be catching up with a number of the riders along the route as well, hopefully with some fans. I'm not quite sure who she managed to get hold of, but I have no doubt that she'll be quite excited to get a chatting with some of the riders. Well, as you can see there, we're 10 minutes away from the start of the elite men pushing off from Maritzburg in front of the City Hall. And as mentioned, it starts with a bit of a challenge and a bit of a climb as well.
I reckon so. That's the prize money then. 50,000 Rand for the winners, and then 20,000 and 10,000 for third place. That's in all categories, the men and the women's categories. And the women will get off. Don't forget the men starting at 600, which is in just a couple of minutes' time. The ladies will begin at 6:15, and lots to look forward to as far as that is concerned. Let's have a look at some of the main contenders then. Rowan Duploy, the defending champion. He came through in the previous event in 2023 in a bunch sprint with Jaden Turlo and Gustav Passon, Emil van Kent Main, all in a bunch sprint separated by just a matter of seconds. And but Rowan Duploy, the defending champion then. And there's some of the main contenders. Pick out who you think might be a favorite. Are we going to see a Swiss winner, or is it all South Africa?
Well, I'm going with Rowan Duploy, the defending champion. I think last year he was by himself. He managed to actually outsprint everyone riding solo. But I think this time around he's got a much stronger team with team supported by, of course, Kent May. And those guys are actually going to be out there to support him today. So I'm actually looking forward to actually seeing him defend this crown. But the guys from Honeycomb will definitely put in a good attack to try to take that away from him.
Now, the 2022 edition was won in 2 hours 22.20, and last year it was won in 2:20.24, and it was quite interesting. I'm not sure what the differences in the routes are, but because of that Camperdown situation, we're expecting the race to be a little quicker. Are you expecting a winning time of less than 2:20?
Yep. I'm thinking we should expect right about the same time, especially with the weather condition. I mean, being slightly wet, the guys will want to take it easy, want to be staying upright, because it's going to be quite slippery at some points.
We're underway then. The Amshova National Classic 2024 gets underway outside the City Hall of Peter Maritzburg en route to Durban. Don't forget, this was a concept that was brought about by Dave Wiseman and his friend Tony McMillan, trying to realize a dream of following the Comrades Marathon down route. There are some differences, of course, in the route. We'll link up with the Comrades route around about the Camperdown area. So a group of 3 men then leading out. You can just see a 4th wheel coming into the picture in the leading men. So this group off the front of the peloton, so to speak. The chasing group not far behind, though.
Yep.
And I don't think we've seen anything decisive at this stage. And judging from what we're seeing in the early 5 minutes of the Amshova. Okay, so after the first 10Ks, these are the green marks there on that graphic after nearly 8 minutes of riding in the Amshova National Classic is then the road that we've traveled so far, and all uphill. Right, we're changing tack here from the men's race to the women's race, and back at the start line, Lesego will be there having a look and chatting with the ladies there. And so we will join the ladies there, and you know, the defending champion Joe van der Winkel, who was second in 2022 and winners in 2023. The ladies are off. So watch out for Carlo Wilbur also. We had a chat to a bit earlier on. Joe van der Winkel, we had a chat to earlier on. They're running in the same team. Joe van der Winkel, more of a climber, so we might see her more when they're going up in Chunga a little bit later, the back of Botha's Hill, maybe even the Fox Hill situation. But they're not the only ladies in the race, because you've got Tennille Otto, and you've got Madison Bateson, and you've got Sonia van der Velden, Tanit Kruger. There's a lot to choose from as far as the ladies.
We've got Team Honeycomb that are trying to get something up the road. So they're going to keep on applying the pressure up until they can sneak a small group away, probably like 4 or 5 riders. But guys like Tyler Langer will want to be there and make sure they don't want to miss it.
Now, by comparison to the men's event, which is already 17 minutes up the road, and the women only 2 minutes in, and we probably heading out on Alexander Road at the moment. Very interesting to see how the men are going along. If you look at Thokozani Mahlangu, is up there in his leading group, and then again just a slight little attack there from looks like Tristan Nokia actually, who got ahead of Thokozani there, and then the rider from TG as well in that leading group. So, you know, again, it's just they're asking questions all the time. They've got a team tactic. They know what they're doing. They've organized their thoughts, no doubt, for this event. Have Honeycomb and pushing the envelope, tracking back, testing again, pushing, retreating.
That gap, see, which they've actually already got now from the punch.
There's the chasing pack, but immediately there's a response. As soon as they're on camera, they start misbehaving. Honeycomb again, saying, "Oh, hang on a second, we're not accepting this so much."
We've got someone in front,
and with the amount of riders they have in their team, these are the sort of tactics they can do. So trying to bridge the gap towards the three ladies up the road. The ladies started 7.5 minutes ago, and they're making their way down Alexander Road. As I say, a little bit more of a leisurely bunch together. We haven't seen any tactics play out currently from the ladies, but if you look out there and the ladies that are involved there from Cycle Nation, and the defending champions in there as well, and winners of this competition in past years, Joe van der Winkel and Carla Ober also, they'll no doubt want to apply their tactics. Do they apply them early? Do they apply them late? It seems like the ladies' race is a little more circumspect. Looking around, it is the leading bunch of the ladies at the moment, with Carla Ober also and Joe van der Winkel, who are riding together with each other. At the moment, the leading men then, and I almost thought for a moment they'd shaken off Thokozani Mahlangu, but I think he's still in the mix there. But 4 riders, 4 different teams, and suddenly it becomes rather interesting at the front. This is the chasing pack of the men. And TG again, just looking to accelerate there.
Talking about that ceremonial ride, it's actually great seeing our former pro Nicolas Lamini. He's also part of that ceremonial ride. Those guys are not racing; they're taking it easy. And a bit of history on Nicolas Lamini comes from back in Cape Town. He was with Velokaya, and he went on to ride. He did the Tour de France, I think, about 2 years ago. I think he's had some heart conditions. That's why we're actually not seeing him at the front of the racing there.
Yeah, Cycle Nation are saying, if you want it, you've got to fetch it from us.
Yeah.
And they've gone to the front, looking to control from the front of the race. At the front of the race then, with the men, and once again, Tristan Nokia not giving anything up as far as the top of the race is concerned. Jose Kleinschmidt is up there as well, and Mahlangu's not going anywhere as far as that is concerned either. And suddenly, it appears as if the ladies' race has just accelerated a little.
But of course, we still have Team Cycle Nation just dictating the pace. They're keeping it at a very gentle pace there, slightly picking it up a bit.
Front then, just a Nokia from Honeycomb. We've got Thokozani Mahlangu, who's still in the group there. Jose Kleinschmidt is in there as well, going over the whole course, getting out of the car, having a look at the surfaces of the road, how slippery some surfaces were, how more rough some of the surfaces were. Some surfaces that didn't have road markings.
These 4 riders have a good chance of keeping this gap, because we saw them applying the pressure from early on up until that elastic snapped. So it actually did, and now you can see now they are all just time trialing, taking their turns in front and making sure that they maintain their distance.
Suddenly there's an attack from Cycle Nation. They've lost a little bit of patience, and that looks like the defending champion Joe van der Winkel, who suddenly says, I need a little bit of space here, please. And immediately there's a response from Tanil Otto, and it's game on.
Yeah, it's game on. I think she's trying to say, well, if you can do it well, maybe I just can do it better. So I don't think it's the best tactic for them to be attacking each other so early on. They want to preserve that energy, work together, make sure that they keep their gap to the punch, and also do this. You see now they're just stopping. They're just sitting up from their attacks. I think they're calling it quits and saying, okay, let's just work together.
We saw that in the men's race too, right in the beginning, even before we turned into Alexander Road from Chief Albert Lutuli Road, where there's another attack. And this is where Tanil Otto is now. She might be outnumbered. Maybe she's not outgunned, but at the moment she's certainly outnumbered. And if these little attacks come on more and more and more, suddenly these tactics are becoming a little bit more what we're seeing in the men's race from Honeycomb. from the ladies, but nice work done there by Lisa Bone.
Yeah, I think they actually not. We've got another rider just coming into picture. I think Cycle Nation is not happy with that combination there. I think they just want their own riders just being at the front. I don't think they want. I think they want to be by themselves because they are keeping on launching these attacks.
As far as the men are concerned, well, we still have Thokozani Mahlangu, and we still have up front very fast riding Jose Kleinschmidt.
More action actually happening there at the front.
Yeah, but certainly the pace has increased. You can see by the body language, particularly of Thokozani, that he's way further in an aerodynamic sort of position, trying to keep up with these leading group. But Jose Kleinschmidt in the beginning of that, and then Tristan Norkier trying to keep things tidy. That it's nice to see that there is somewhat of an understanding with the men as well. They almost seem to be taking turns in trying to get away from the chasing group.
Yeah, no, indeed. I think Thokozani is still not interested in taking his turn there at the
Not
front.
at all.
Yeah, but I think the guys are still actually at least working together nicely. I think they've realized that if they're going to make it this stick, they have to take their turns. Maybe he might just contribute right now. But I think if they work nicely together...
Thokozani does get a little turn at the front. And it's only a matter of time, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because, you know, having watched plenty of the tour and, you know, the grand tours and these sort of things, a peloton like this, you know, small breakaway group, they don't really appreciate it, a rider sitting at the back and not contributing at all. You know, he'll get a couple of strange little looks, and occasionally he'll do himself a lot of favors, I think, but just going in front, even if it's for 30 seconds, and taking a little bit of a turn. But I think these guys are working beautifully together.
No, exactly.
This is the ladies' chasing group with Jo van der Winkel and Carla Wilberol, Tennille Otto and Sonara Grove. And the road furniture and all sorts of things. A taxi every now and again, like cutting across the riders, but seems to be another little attack there.
Yeah, no, definitely.
We still have the leading four. Get them away. And if they isolate Lisa Bone, maybe they can attack her a bit later. Talking about attacks, all of a sudden there's an attack at the front of the race in the men's group. The pace is picked up.
Definitely. I see Kent Main there from Team RKC Collective. He seems to be pulling on the front. RKC Collective sprinter is not there, and Kent's having to make a call that he's going to try and ride to get away towards the back end to pull the victory off for Team RKC Collective.
The leading group has now been increased.
Oh, there we go.
And now another attack.
Here's the big man, Mark Pritson, going at it himself. I don't think he was quite happy with the conversation of that group. He's trying to force the issue. There's Kent Main getting after him. Felix Steele behind him. Looks like we've got a split of three here. Swinging off, looking for a little bit of help from Kent. Then behind him, the Swiss rider, Felix Steele. So you've got proven race winners here. Okay, there we go. I see Johan Trotsky from Honeycomb getting back. I see Tyler Langer also getting back in the mix there.
She's catching some of the stragglers then in the men's group. What sort of psychology is that? I mean, this is a ride that is done with the pros. Talking about action, the pace hots up once again in the men's race, and suddenly Mark Pritson, the 2022 champion, just sitting second wheel at the moment, and maybe giving himself a little bit of a breather. The good thing for Mark Pritson that he does have support from a teammate from Honeycomb Cycling. This little chase pack will come back at them. It seems to be 8 riders now in the leading group as far as the men are concerned.
The riders are attacking left, right, and centre. The pressure is on.
Lisa Bone still at the head of the ladies' race, the women's race, the leading woman.
Okay, this is an interesting situation. Yeah.
Yep.
It looks like Felix and Mark.
Was he waiting for Mark?
Pritson. It looks like it, yeah. And if I look at this now, these two riders pinning the ears down all the way to the finish, full gas.
Well, that's going to be a fascinating one, because if they can get away, it's like a conversation between the two of them, but it certainly looks as if Pritson has now come to the fore, the 2022 champ.
But, you know, you don't see that every day. And if I have a look at this, Kent Main is, I'm not saying we've underplayed him today. We've been talking about the sprinters, anticipating a sprint.
But, that's where we are. We're on the Durban side of the Boerters Hill. And, as you say, there are a couple of little kickers here and there. It's not all completely downhill, but it certainly is a lot of downhill and a lot of very, very quick downhill as well.
Yeah. who's going to close it? No, I look at you, you look at me, and the general energy is going to slow down because there was a chase, now it's going to slow down.
My doctor in Johannesburg was over at the Olympic Games, and she's a cyclist, and her and her husband, and they were over at the Olympic Games, and they managed to hire a couple of bicycles and ride Champs-Élysées. And she's riding on cobblestone.
Oh, there's very interesting situation. Pan back to
with
the
the ladies. Cycle Nation have attacked.
There we go. Cycle Nation are playing their favorite card here.
Yeah.
Lisa Bone is up the road. They wait. Carla Oberholzer and Joe van der Winkel will team up together.
There
and
we go.
they should ride across to their teammate in the front, Lisa Bone.
And if they continue with this acceleration and pair with each other.
Dr. Mills fighting back though.
And share the load. Yeah, she is fighting back very nicely too.
Very
but
good
if they're able to share the load and they can stick with each other. There's the leading lady, Lisa Bone. She's been in front for, well, I would go as far as suggesting maybe an hour and a half. And it's going to be very interesting to see.
Looks like the gap's opening up a little bit there.
Makes a move. There is a slightly
gap's
more of an
opening.
acceleration, and this hill is taking its toll a bit.
Yeah, she's committing 100% now to try and get back on.
She has closed the gap.
Yeah, she's back on. 100% she's back on.
A three-rider chasing pack. And Lisa Bone still in front. Yeah, so Lisa Bone has been caught. And suddenly that group of three, as the chasing pack of three is now leading pack of four.
It's actually quite interesting how things have developed here, because remember early on we were talking about how Honeycomb was actually putting down the hammer, being the aggressor in the race and putting up attacks, and seemingly now they've actually lost out. I mean, they've missed out on the race winning move. But it's also quite something that we're seeing now on the screens. I think, look at the wheels, Felix's wheels. I think they're actually quite different. The front wheel is different to the rear wheel. So which actually means that he might have had a punch and had to actually change wheels.
Oh, that's fascinating.
You might not have grip, and you are most likely to crash. So you can't take corners with speed, with slick tires on wet roads.
I was going to ask you how, because if you look at a knobbly tire, for instance, on a motocross bike, if you go around a corner, but there's still an element of risk that they're probably prepared to take, particularly
Definitely.
with only about 10 minutes remaining.
This is now the tail end of the event. So he's but I don't know how he's going to look now with Felix. Felix is also quite rapid, so it's going to be actually quite interesting.
Now, having watched a lot of the main races like the Tour de France and the Vuelta and these sort of things, the Giro, you don't want to commit yourself too early to a sprint race.
Definitely.
So, you know, with 100 meters to go, you don't want to go at 500 meters to go. You want to go at 150 maybe meters to go. Now, has Stili made a mistake here? Yeah.
No, they're still rolling, so they're still taking turns in front. But I think one thing for sure is that they're not going all out now. And I think Felix, Kent doesn't fancy his chances for the sprint. So that's why you'd pull such a stunt with the attack with a little bit a kilometer out.
At the finish line, there's the gantry.
Yeah, it's inside.
And this is about to burst into light. And it does burst into life. Stili goes over the top of Main. Main's in the wheel here. But Stili's away. Looks over his shoulder. I'm not sure that's a good idea. Stili wants to bag this one. And I think he's gotten away from Main. Success for Felix Stili as he wins the Amshova National Classic.
There he's in front.
There's some other amateur riders that are in the way here. I'm sure the marshals will clear them out. Is that Pritson in the front? It certainly is a sprint from...
Tyler got closed in there.
All these guys that are being hampered here.
There you've got Tyler as well, yeah.
Suddenly, it's a Tyler
but
in
Tyler,
the front
Tyler who's taking
towards
he's boxing.
the front here. And while he was doing that, the rider in the white on the left-hand side might have come through to sneak third place.
That's TEG. That's the under-23 continental champion.
The women's race is not yet to be decided.
Yeah.
Terribly great out there, but how did you feel?
Oh, it was terrible. I was coming here to South Africa for sunshine and not for rain. So, yeah, it was pretty tough. And the start was okay, but then it getting worse and worse with the rain, and it was very wet. And now in the finish, the last 5 kilometers were dry again. So, yeah, a bit rough conditions, but it was okay.
We saw early on in the race that the attacks came before you even got out of Pietermaritzburg, and it looked like people were trying to establish their position very early on in the race. Does that suit you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm very good friend with Mark Pritzen, and yeah, I wanted to help him for the win, but he was marked of all the guys. So yeah, we wanted to make the race hard, and we were quite happy with that.
Wonderful. And what is next for you?
Next will be Wines to Wales for me.
Right, so is he going to spend a couple of days in South Africa?
Yeah, until end of November.
So you're going to get that sunlight that you've been waiting for. You're going to do a little bit of activities, a bit of surfing maybe?
Maybe the last 2 weeks I have off season, yeah, then I will enjoy.
Congratulations. I hope that we're able to turn the weather on for you. Wonderful race. You spoke about the conditions, but you seem to have overcome them quite well. Enjoy the rest of the stay in South Africa, and good luck for the future. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We haven't mentioned in the sprint, we've been talking about Sonara, and the Cycle Nationalities is Tanil. Tanil's playing it very, very smart here.
Stadium in the background, where there cannot be more than 150, 200 meters to go. At what stage do they kick? Because it's going to happen almost as we speak. Stadium in the background, where there cannot be more than 150, 200 meters to go. At what stage do they kick? Because it's going to happen almost as we speak, waiting for who has the greater fortitude. Well, we're looking back now from the finish. This is very, very close. And we still don't have anybody that's made the kick. It's still Lisa Bowen who's leading out. And behind her is Sonora Grove.
Very
and
interesting situation. Yeah, there we
also
go.
looked up because there was an attack from Sonora Grove. Bowen is left behind. It looks like it's Carlo Oberholzer. And just sits up for the moment. This is Sonora Grove.
Done deal.
Sonora Grove is away and will win
the
Amshova
Otto.
National
Tanil
Classic.
Otto coming over in second.
Otto in second position, and that's a big upset for the Cycle Nation, but one has to hand a huge, huge round of applause to Otto and Grove for their fortitude throughout the course of the 2 3/4 hours in this race. It's been phenomenal from Otto and Grove.
I'm with the winner of the elite women's race, Sonara Grove. The conditions looked unbelievably crazy out there, but I don't think you focused too much on that over the course of a race.
No, I mean, I think at one point we were going downhill and I'd taken my glasses off and I was going a bit blind. But we were chasing hard enough that it is just in the back of your mind. It's not like the main focus of the day.
Yeah, 2 years running it's been this conditions. I suppose you can't really prepare for it.
No, I mean, we don't really train in this weather a lot. If it's raining, we tend to train indoors, and I think we all definitely missed the couple of sunny Amshova years that we had in a row. Yeah. So, I mean, well done to the guys that went out there and rode in these conditions anyway. Like, everybody that finishes the race today is a winner. Like,
well, this is an education for me, and at least I know you're not on the slicks. Did you have to make any changes, any adjustments?
Well, in the wet conditions, you tend to run like tires at a bit of a softer pressure. It means better grip and traction in the wet. Yeah. So that was the only sort of decision that had to be made.
We saw that there were a couple of attacks early on in Pietermaritzburg already, and I was sort of wondering if that was all part of the strategy or if it was just an attempt to try and get out front, because there were a couple of teams and immediately in your vicinity as well that you needed to overcome. It seemed quite hectic early on.
Yeah, I had me and my friend Tanil, like, we don't ride for the same team, but as individual riders, we sort of had to make an alliance before the race to be like, yeah, we'll help each other out, because there's 3 girls from another team and it ends up very like 3 versus 1, and it's not always the easiest thing to deal with. So we were trying to like work together, and ended up getting myself dropped and chasing for kilometer after kilometer to get back. So as the sprinter of the riders there, it's their sort of job to get rid of me, and it's my job to try hang on for as long as possible. So
Yeah, you certainly hung on until it mattered right at the
Yeah.
end, and quite a sprint finish as well.
Yeah.
Did it still look as if things were up in the air as you were coming down this final stretch?
I thought it was very up in the air still. After a hard race, you never know how your legs are going to feel. I've stood up at the end of a race and like sat back down and just let people come past because I had nothing to give. So you never actually know how it's going to go in that moment, you know.
And what's next for you?
Next for me as far as racing goes will be 94.7. So yeah, that's a big one.
Sunny conditions. It always happens in Joburg.
I really hope so. I really hope so.
Well, I'm glad you could share the umbrella with me. Congratulations today. Great race.
Sure, thank you so much.
Let's get ready for the trophy presentation then. This is the podium, and we'll have the winners up there to receive their various prizes, etc., etc. Amshova National Classic coming to its conclusion as far as the elite riders are concerned. So the announcements being made then. Emil van Niekerk, the third-placed man on a sprint finish. There was a sprint finish for first and second, but for the next 7 riders, there was only one place available on the podium, and that went to the under-23 rider, Emil van Niekerk. Second was Kent Main, and then Felix Stechli from Switzerland, who takes away not only the gold medal, but the 50,000 bucks as well. So there is the under-23 rider then to the left-hand side of your picture in the TG colours. That's Emil van Niekerk, first in the under-23 category of the African Championships road race. In second place in the multicolours of pink and blue, I suppose. I don't know. The man who won the Cape Cycle Tour earlier this year, Kent Main, and the winner from Switzerland getting his rewards from John Gericke. And that is our visitor, Felix Stechli. And a really nice finish to the race, I thought, between Stechli and Main. 50,000 bucks, it might not equate to too much as far as euros are concerned, but I tell you what, I'm not going to sneeze at 50 grand. He's earned it.
That's a quick 50,000 rand. That's 50,000 for 2 hours, about 2 hours 20 minutes, 2 hours 14 minutes effort, and then that's 50,000.
Final result there, Stechli over Main and van Niekerk. First, second and third at the Amshova National Classic here in KwaZulu-Natal. Starting in Pietermaritzburg, ending in Durban, and a little goodie bag.
RKC Collective, that will be what? Ruan, Kent, and Keenan and Chris Collective. RKC.
That's a privately funded initiative, isn't it?
Indeed, I think they are heavily supported by Gio Vita, who's making sure that our athletes have a fighting opportunity.
He wanted some sun, he's got sunflowers instead.
Indeed, that's a nice way to start his holiday, because I think he's here to do his base training, so so that 50,000 should cover him for the next 2
50
months.
grand should cover some costs, and a trip down to the sea as well for an ice cream, maybe with a flakiness.
Indeed, definitely. It's a nice way to start your holiday.
So into the women's race, Carla Wibber also, who was a good former, perhaps the favourite for the women's race. And Carla Wibber also then coming through in third place, just pipped on the line by Tennille Otto, who finished in second place in the women's race. And then the winner coming from behind and winning the sprint for the title was Sonara Grove. And really well done for these ladies. We really did think that there was going to be a lot as far as the women's race was concerned. As far as Cycle Nation were concerned as well, but yeah, it was a really nice finish. 5 ladies, and at the end of the day, it was Sonara Grove who came through over Tennille Otto, and very happy when she was having a chat to Paula Jinga. So to the winner the spoils as well. The winner's checks, also 50,000 rand for the winning lady, Sonora Grove. Tinilotto with 20,000 rand. And Carla Wilbert also will pick up 10,000 bucks. Goodie bags for the ladies as well, and no doubt a bunch of sunflowers for the Sonora Grove as well. When it came down to a bunch sprint, it was always going to be Sonora Grove who was going to be favourite to take that out, and she takes it out in just a smidgen under 2 hours and 46 minutes, and lots of smiles on the podium there at the presentation of the Amshova National Classic Women's Trophy presentation, under 50,000 rand. As well, that will go into the kitty very nicely, I suppose, in preparation for the other races that Sonora Grove will be involved upon. There we go, a bunch of sunflowers for Sonora Grove as well.
We are here inside the dome at the Suncoast Casino, and I'm with the Sports MEC for the province, Dowuhle Kaula. Mr. MEC, what an absolute pleasure. Wonderful turnout despite the rain. Absolutely great to see the spirit, the energy, and it's a celebratory moment.
That's true. Greetings to the viewers at home. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Yes. I'm excited. I woke up at 3 o'clock, and at 3:45 I was at the starting point. I was a bit scared myself because yesterday we received notices of the weather that was not going to be great, but when the bikers arrived, you know, you could see the passion, you could feel the passion. So we really appreciate this moment as well as Natal. We are grateful to Amshova for having brought this sport, this tournament to KwaZulu-Natal, to Durban. We are grateful to all the participants, all the cyclists. This sport, we need to grow it. We need to make it big for South Africa. As the province of KwaZulu-Natal, we really appreciate that it happened here in KwaZulu-Natal this weekend.
Well, we saw the elite men and women on stage with you a few minutes ago, and we are going to celebrate them, and well-deserved and great prize money. But the important thing is it's a mass participation event. We saw families, we saw children, mothers and fathers, and that's what it's about.
Exactly. It's a family sport. Biking is not just about competing and winning. It's also good for your body, it's good for family, it's good for everyone. It entertains. So I was happy that you see families here, and you see people of all ages. So it makes us, you know, want to do more. As government, we really need to be out there for the people of our province, for the people of our country, because, you know, people are ready to receive us. We need to also open hands, and as this government of KwaZulu-Natal, our hands are open. We have got a very good partnership with the federation, the cycling federation in the province. But yes, there is always room for improvement. We need to make the sport big, especially, I was saying earlier on, we need to partner with the municipalities so that even in the roads there is there's space dedicated for the cyclists, so that, you know, they are immune from from the dangers that sometimes happen, which is not good. We need to spread the sport even beyond the cities, take it to the rural areas. We do try. We've got a program together with the Department of Transport where we take bikes to schools and we teach the young ones. But as I'm saying, it's not enough. When you see this passion, when you feel this passion, you then feel that it's not enough. We need to do more.
Yeah, you can hear it. It's getting louder in the place where we are. The one thing about Amshova is it doesn't just highlight eThekwini, the city.
Yes.
And you mentioned municipalities. The race started off in Howick this morning at a very memorable site, at the site of Nelson Mandela's arrest.
Yes.
So it highlights the Midlands, it highlights Pietermaritzburg, it highlights eThekwini. It obviously speaks to exactly what it is you want to achieve.
Exactly. You can see it encompasses a lot of areas together. There is an area of entertainment, there is an area of sport, there is an area of sport tourism, there is an area of knowledge, information, there is an area of just going out there to research, to enjoy the views of KwaZulu-Natal. So it is a lot of things together. Like I'm saying, there were many starting points. There was one in Hillcrest, another one in Pietermaritzburg, like you're saying. There is Howick, there is a lot more. So it's not just about one area of focus at once, but it's a lot of things together. So really we appreciate this moment, this opportunity that Amshova have given to KwaZulu-Natal. But what we're saying is, bring it more to KwaZulu-Natal. We are ready for you. We are there for you. So Amshova must be a KwaZulu-Natal sport.
It certainly is. But for 38 years, it's been at KwaZulu-Natal, a highlighter of brilliance in the province. And I suppose you would want it to last for at least another 38 years.
Exactly, even beyond 38 years. So what is important is sustainability. Now those who started it have kept it for 38 years. We really have to appreciate the vision. I was speaking to the committee and I was happy that they also do want to sustain it even further, because you can see there now needs to be a change of hands. Even if it does happen, those who have come in want to take it forward. That is what we need. We need to sustain the good things that we have as a country. There's a lot of good that is happening in South Africa. We need to sustain it.
And I think the positivity also comes to the fore when you realize that this is private-public partnership. The government takes the hands of private enterprise and the sponsors and the other people who contribute to this event. It's very important if we want to be successful.
No, thank you very much. Shout out to the sponsors. It's a great job they are doing, because government alone cannot do it. The vision alone will not sustain if private sector does not come in to nest the vision economically. So we really are saying a big up to the sponsors of this program. Thank you very much.
Well, big up to you, MEC. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
There was the MEC here in KwaZulu-Natal, and obviously you can hear the noise in the arena where we are at the moment. The prize giving is continuing on, but the spirit certainly hasn't been dampened by the rain outside.
Thanks, Tole Njinga, the MEC for Sports, Arts and Culture, Ntombukhle Kwaula. And great to see his enthusiasm for the sport of cycling. I'm sure he's got a lot involved. Are you impressed, talking about sport and MECs and MPs and all these sort of things? How about Gayton McKenzie?
Well, I'm impressed. I mean, as long as there's follow through with it, I mean, it's always great to hear the politicians, what they say, and the leadership to say they are very much in support of the sport.
The race director for Amshova, Annie Batchelder, and Annie, you guys had rain last year. I think it would have thrown a lot of organizers into disarray. You had massive rain this year, but I look around, I see smiles on faces, I see happy prize winners. It's absolutely wonderful that the spirits can overcome the rain and whatever disappointments you might have experienced outside. This is what Amshova is about.
It's a fabulous race and people keep coming back, and that's what we love about the Amshova. We have so many loyal riders that do come back year after year, even in spite of the rain. We have had such hot weather sometimes where we've had to stop the race and fetch the riders along the way. But luckily today the rain only started later, so they all had a good start, and it was really only the last couple of Ks really that they really got hit. And as for everybody else waiting in the finish line, they all got drenched. And as I said to somebody who looked at me with very wet face and said, you know what, wet is wet. When you are wet, you're wet.
Yeah, that's it. So you can't get any wetter than you were. The front runners, though, as you mentioned, able to navigate their way before the rain really affected things. Still a successful race, incredibly competitive. We saw some dynamics play out over the course of the race, both the men and the women's elite races. It's wonderful that you're able to put together not just a mass participation event, but one that highlights the achievements of some of the best cyclists in and around South Africa, and internationally we saw a Swedish winner, a Swiss winner.
Yeah, how amazing was that? You know, this route is a very special route, and those who run the Comrades route can tell you that it's a tough route, and even for the cyclists it's a lot of climbing. I was chatting to Nick Blamini now, and he just said what a special route. He says you can hide but you can't win. And he says people catch up and you don't know who's behind you and who's chasing you. And he said you have a terrible hill that really stings your legs, and then you come down to beautiful recovery riding. And I think that's what brings those racing cyclists back. And I think very often It's difficult for an event organizer to keep bringing back racing cycling, but we are determined that this Amshova will remain a racing event. It will be a competitive event where people race each other for good time and for good money.
Yeah, certainly is an incredible event from a performance point of view, but the historic aspect of it, you talk about the route, and it mirrors by and large the Comrades route as well, and that's obviously something that's near and dear to the people of this province.
Absolutely. And in fact, the whole country, everybody, quite a few people run the Comrades, and then we always say to them, come and ride it, you'll love it, it's better on a bike. And they do enjoy it. It's a tough ride. It's a very tough ride, but it's a fun ride, and I think people really do enjoy the route.
Tell me about the start of the race in Howick this morning, the historic nature of the location that you was selected. Though it was ceremonial and there wasn't too much competition right up front, it lent the race, I thought, quite an air of gravitas.
We were very excited to add that dimension to the event. We've been speaking to the director of Grand Fondo for a long time, and that's a cyclotourism event that takes place in 26 different countries around the world. And we always felt we needed some kind of an iconic, recognizable venue or something to bring our international visitors here. And of course, there's no better magnet than the name Nelson Mandela. So that Mandela capture site is the most unbelievably stirring and moving place I've ever been in. And we spent a whole day there at the race number pickup, and the message of Nelson Mandela just permeated all our lives that day. And I think we could not have chosen a better start for that. We hope that we'll be able to make that the racing route eventually. But we had to listen to the Metro Police and the Cycling South Africa guys to make sure that the racing was safe. And they were concerned that it wasn't safe because there's a very steep descent into Maritzburg. So if we can find some other routes and find a way around that, that's going to be our main objective now going forward.
Yeah, you would have had to coordinate 3 different municipalities, eThekwini through all the way up to Howick and of course Pietermaritzburg as well. How difficult is that to do, and how easy, when I look at the MEC's presence, the mayor of eThekwini being here, have they made it?
I think what's happened with the GNU is that it's brought people together in a way that they probably wouldn't have been together before. And I think they like competing with each other. So you get this municipality that thinks that they can do this better than that one. And there's nothing like a little bit of competition to make everybody do well, and then everybody wins, which is a fabulous, fabulous thing. And I think that's what we had this year. And I think also the change in a lot of the municipalities have given an opportunity for people to shine and new people to shine. So I think it's been we are the benefits of that relationship and association.
You've got thousands of riders, one of the biggest mass participation events in the country. How much bigger can this get, Annie?
Well, luckily the road closure gives us an opportunity to grow it even more. Pre-COVID, we had 10,000 riders. So we were excited this year to get over the over 3,000, but we'll grow and grow. And there's nothing like word of mouth to bring people to an event. So we hope that all the people who rode today will be ambassadors for the Amshova race and come back again and bring other people. I was speaking to Nick Glamini just now, and he said, I can't believe that more Cape Townians don't come and ride this race. And I said, no, they don't cross the curtain, the big curtain of the mountain. They stay down there. But we'd love to welcome Cape Townians here. We do get a lot of Gauteng riders, which we love, and they form 60% of our participation base here. So we always love to have them here, and I'm sorry we couldn't give you a lovely sunny day on the beach.
Now, we've had enough sunny days in Durban, so I don't think anyone's complaining. And Cape Townians, you need to get yourself here, but it's their loss, I think, until they manage to make their way over here. You've certainly won me over. I know you've won a lot of people over, and I've been getting reactions throughout the course of the day. Just a word on the partnership that it takes to put something like this together, whether it's government, whether it's other sponsors and corporates who jump on board unquestioningly.
Absolutely. This is not a one-man show. I've always said that eventing is about networking, and we can proudly say I've been doing this event for 28 years, and a lot of the people we still been working with for all those 28 years. They come in each year. They know where to go, they know what to do, we trust them, they trust us, and that is such a feeling of satisfaction, and it helps us. So definitely, from the government point of view, our Metro Police, they see us and they say, we love working with you. You don't surprise us. You don't throw us under the bus. We know what to expect with you girls, so we love it.
Yeah. And a word for the residents as well, who obviously welcome the visitors, and it's a wonderful fillip and a push economically for the cities. But the residents also have to play ball, and they do.
Absolutely. The road closures are important for the cyclists, and I think it's important as well because the city then rallies around the event in that they fix potholes, they paint lines on the road, they see to the verges being cut, they pick up the litter. There's a lot of important things that happen as a result of an event. And I know you do get put out for a couple of hours, but we thank the residents and say come out and support us and welcome the cyclists from all over actually sometimes all over the world to come and ride the event for us.
And just on a personal note from myself and some of our team members, we went on a bit of a recce and a ride, a bit of an inspection of the route yesterday ahead of the race, just to take a look. And tell you what, if you ever come to KZN and are particularly driving down to Durban, maybe veer off the N3 for a bit and follow this route to Durban. Is that part of the thinking, or does it just so happen to be one of the most beautiful roads in the country?
Well, you know, KZN, well, particularly this area of KZN is known for its hills, and it's not called 1,000 Hills for nothing. And you get beautiful rural mixed with industrial, mixed with a bit of a city thing. So you get a bit of everything. And I say come down to KZN and hopefully you get nice weather and you can spend a bit of time on the beach as well. But it is a lovely route and it's got a lot of history in it. So it's something that we definitely love about the area.
Henny Batchelder, you can certainly take it easy after the success of today. You and your team have put together a marvelous event. Well done. And from strength to strength, hopefully this continues to grow and we get those Cape Townians to come down.
Absolutely. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Eddie. Yeah, I am with Danny Buyo, who is the founder and CEO of the Gran Fondo World Tour. Under which umbrella this falls? Could you tell us a little bit more about Gran Fondo and what it is you do?
Well, Gran Fondo World Tour, it's a network of non-professional of mass participation cycling events that we are compiling in a calendar. We started since 2016. Okay, now it's 8 seasons compiling on this calendar, and actually what we have 27 destinations in 24 countries, 5 continents of cycling events like Amshova, okay, which means that we are moving around the world, creating this network of events and creating opportunities to move international participants that are doing sports tourism traveling on the different destinations. People from North America moving to Europe, people from Europe moving to South Africa, people from South Africa moving to South Korea to the event. Well, this is our aim, to connect people actually.
Yeah, certainly does connect people, and I suppose it's not necessarily geared towards the upper echelons of cycling and the professionals who do have their events that they want to participate in. You guys look at more mass participation at families, children, parents, and that sort of thing.
Correct. What we are focused on this mass participation, family events, non-professional amateurs, the people that have the chance and love to travel and spend 1 week on the destination, and they do at the event, but their final result, it's not the most important. It's clear that always there are competition inside, but for them, I think that the key for us is to really present these different destinations opportunities to this community, saying that, hey, come to Durban, come here, come to Amshova. This is a nice destination. You do a nice event, of course, with all the facilities, but even you can do a safari, you can do family activities and spend 1 week here, or the same with the other destinations. We are focused more on this, on the sports tourism.
Yeah, that's wonderful, and an opportunity to go beyond the race. You say 26 countries around the world?
Actually, we have 27 events in 24 countries, which means that we have the 5 continents, actually.
That's quite a lot of countries. Where are you based?
I am based in Andorra, that is in a small country based between France and Spain, but then we have our headquarters. But anyway, I am moving a lot. I live in the airport, actually. Moving, yeah, last week I was in Morocco, before Switzerland, now here, next week Spain. Well, but this is what we do, trying to promote and connecting people, because sometimes we don't know what what there is in common between us, you and me here in Durban, and people in Barcelona now that are participating in similar event. But we are connected by the bike, by the passion to ride the bikes. This is our connection.
This is fascinating. Do you have more of your events based in and around Europe? And how many, you mentioned Morocco, do you have on the African continent?
Well, actually, it's one of our strategic developments are to land where in Africa, of course, South Africa. We had a small partnership in Rwanda. We race around Rwanda. Okay, we are working with Morocco in North. Okay, in Creme of Africa. And the second key point that we have is Asia. Okay, because actually we are in Thailand, Indonesia, and South Korea. But we try to move to Central Asia, to Kazakhstan, to India, to different. Try to land as maximum continents and as maximum destinations as possible for us, in order that we have a full calendar, no? That you can choose and say, okay, next year I will move to North America, next to South America, moving and destinations.
So what would you want people who've attended this event who are from Durban or from South Africa, who are local, I suppose you want them to do the same thing in Morocco, in Rwanda, in Spain?
Finally, this is clear, okay? People sometimes are scared that I will not travel to North America or to Barcelona or to Seoul, South Korea. But they should think that they are doing the same. They take their bike or they rent the bike there, they go there, they participate on the event that have the facilities similar like here, and after they have the chance to discover the destination. And sometimes we are scared to move. No, I do here at my home, but I really encourage everyone to move to other events and stay and really discover that, okay, why not do only one during the year, only Amshova? I can do 2 or 3 near in the country or going internationally. Now, no, it's not. Finally, it's tourism, and everybody loves to travel and tourism, and you can take all your family and stay there.
So anybody watching, how do they get hold of you if they're interested in maybe finding out about other destinations where they can take their bike, participate in an event like this, and see more?
Well, we have the website granfondoworldtour.com, okay, where we have all our calendar of map, or we are on the social media and Instagram, Gran Fondo World Tour. It's easy to find us and discover the different type of destinations and the different content that we are pushing on the social media, on the website, to really offer the option to discover these destinations to everyone that want to travel.
Do you know how many people who've arrived here today would have come through from other destinations just to participate and not necessarily compete at the highest level?
No, we finally, our aim, and we try to do between 5 to 7% of the participants of the event coming from internationals or from ones that discover on the calendar. Okay, this is what we try, and this is the numbers that we are moving actually, for 5 to 7%. Then it means that if we are talking about here, will be around 200 persons that said, okay, why am the calendar? I go to here, Amshova. They contact us or they contact the organization and ask for more information, hotel packages, additional activities to discover this, and this is the numbers that we are moving, 5 to 7.
I assume you also have other strategic partnerships besides the event with places for accommodation, tour groups, and so on.
This is the key. Finally, we partner with the event, but we need all the environment, okay? We need the hotels, we need the tourism, local authorities in order to offer content and context to find the hotel transfers, bike rental. Finally, it's a network of tourist facility services that we need to this, and of course involve. Finally, it's not just the event; it's involving a bigger economy, and finally the sports traveling. It's growing after pandemics. 2020, of course, was stopped, but since 2022, it's growing and growing and growing, and people decide to, okay, I will travel, but I will try with one mission, to participate to a marathon, to ultra trail running, or cycling even.
Yeah, certainly after COVID, there's been a push, and we saw in South Africa big numbers in the last year, over I think 1 million visitors coming through in December alone, and obviously we want to see those numbers up. Your partnership and your involvement with Amshova is certainly something that we want to see more of. Do you foresee maybe more destinations than Durban in your grand plan when you look at South Africa?
Well, actually, in terms of cycling, I think that the Amshova, of course, it's the reference in terms of cycling and mass participation events, and I think that from here, why not? We can explore, because finally the Underberg region have a lot of places to riding bikes, and I think that's the beginning, no, on a strong relationships to establish South Africa as one of the key points on the calendar, representing Africa, but even representing one of the top destinations and future destinations, no? And on this way, we are now, from now to 2026, working together with the organization to host here the 2026. We name it Gran Fondo World Championship, that it's like the future event of the calendar. Every year we choose one, okay? And for example, last year we did in Spain, 2 years ago we did in Andorra, 3 years ago we did in South Korea, and before pandemics we did in Norway and in United States. This future event that it's part of the calendar, but all the year we are talking about the event and the destination, and the plan is to put Amshova as the 2026 featured event on the calendar, bigger, like, okay, you can go to Barcelona, but don't forget to go to Durban, or North America, don't forget.
You highlight a destination.
Yeah, it's like, and every year we highlight one of the destinations of the calendar, and we are moving of continent every year in order that we are trying to promote new destinations.
It's very fascinating. I hope people flock to your website, start inquiring, and make their bike riding something a little bit more international, and enjoy a bit of tourism as well. Danny, thank you so much. Gracias.
Thank you for this time, and I'm so glad to stay here again after 2019 last time, and I am because finally for me it's one of my favorite destinations, South Africa and Durban.
Wonderful. I hope you're going to stay to see when the weather turns good as well.
Absolutely. It was nice. Absolutely. But nice.
Was Danny, and it certainly is interesting if you are interested in not just cycling but in tourism as well. Well, this is a perfect way to marry the two. I'm with, somebody who's very well known in the cycling circles, Nick Dlamini. I think we saw you turn up for Team Kubega, what was it, a good 5, 6, 7 years ago now. Did you ride? First of all, you look dry, you look relaxed, you don't even look like you broke a sweat.
Yes, I did ride. I did the 136 kilometers, starting in Harwich. Beautiful route. Absolutely enjoyed it. Yeah.
So does that put you out of contention? I mean, you did that ceremonial ride. You've got the extra kilometers. The main race was 106 Ks. By the time you got to Maritzburg, were you tempted to put foot and keep going, or do you sort of take your foot off the gas and let the front runners take it?
Honestly, when I spoke yesterday, I thought I would just have my foot off the gas pretty much the whole day and not put anyone in the hurt box. But once the race started, you start to get excited, and I haven't raced in a while, so I would get excited in some of the hills, and then when I look back, there's maybe 2 or 3 guys left, and I have to sort of like go slower. But getting to Pietermaritzburg, I mean, I've done the race about 10 years ago. Excitement started kicking in, and wanted to go because I know the last couple of kilometers were basically flat and downhill. So for a kind of rider like myself, it's pointless to sort of like go there with riders. Sure. But I just had a good time on the hills, where sort of I would keep pushing the pace and making sure I want to see other guys suffering. Yeah.
There's something great about this, where you can see the bonds of people who've ridden together, have been in different teams. It was won by Steli, who obviously came through from Switzerland, but you saw one of your former teammates in that top 3 list.
Yes, Kent Main. So Kent won the cycle tour. I can't remember, sorry, if it was last year or earlier this year. Yeah. Good ride, and a race like this doesn't really suit him because it's a flat finish. So for him to even finish second is really an amazing result. Like I thought. I mean, if he had maybe attacked a bit earlier before the downhill, I think he would have been able to take the win. He's more than capable to take the win. Yeah. But nonetheless, I think second is quite a good overall.
Yeah, Kent was very generous with his time when speaking to us and explaining that he still felt like he had more in his legs. And you were highlighting the fact that last stretch into the city really is quite flat. It still continues, and it's quite fast as well. Yeah. So you need to attack it even before you get into the city.
It makes sense if he still had legs, because he is quite an endurance. He's raced quite a bit in Europe, where we would race 170 kilometers, 200. So 106 is very short for him. So yeah, it would have really helped if he sort of made the move a lot earlier, like he did in the cycle tour, and anticipate that kind of move. But also, it's not easy because the race is so short. So a lot of people are still fresh at that. Even after 100 kilometers, if it was maybe 136 kilometers, that's where you start to see the difference of endurance.
I mean, I can't believe you're talking about people being fresh after 106 kilometers. I wouldn't be fresh after 6. This must be a very special race to you. Not only has it got a very different flavor and vibe to most others, but it brings you home.
Yes, I mean, it's whenever I'm in KZN, KZN is very similar to Cape Town. I do feel home when I'm here. And this race is a race that has been growing over the years, and now with the additional 136 kilometers, I think we're going to see more people coming down to Durban to do this race. And yeah, I've got great memories here. I won a race in Margate a couple of years ago, so it was great to be back and come race Amshova.
What's next for you?
For now, I've actually had a good break. I've been having some cardiac issues that I've just been able to sort out now. So I'll probably be back racing in January next year. So yeah, that's why I actually just came and did the 136 instead of the 109 or the 106 kilometers, because I'm not ready to race yet. So I'm still in the building phase. So yeah, next year I'll be back fully racing.
Well, we're really glad to see you back in the saddle, Nick, and all the best for next year. Hope your preparation continues to go well. Are you pushing yourself?
Yes. I'm super excited to race. I haven't raced all along, so yeah, that's why it was quite difficult to take my foot off the gas today. That excitement always kicks in, and I just want to keep going.
Nicholas Dlamini, you're a cycling legend. Thank you so much for chatting to us, and we hope to see you on the big screen, or at least at some of the biggest race events around the world once more. Thanks again to Nick Dlamini. Kinibone is the chief ombud of the community schemes, but you're going to have to give me a little bit of context, Kinibone, what exactly it is you do and what it is you regulate.
We are a community scheme ombud service. We regulate the conduct of the community schemes. By community schemes, you mean your sectional titles, your share block of flats, your estates, housing cooperatives, as well as the houses for retired persons. So those are the schemes, but basically it's your residential complexes. Yes. We regulate the conduct of the people who are staying there.
Right, and you've chosen to partner with this event, which is now 38 years old. Why specifically Amshova?
We started last year actually. We did it last year, we're doing it again this year. A lot of our stakeholders that are residing in the complexes, they are participating in events like Amshova, as well as your comrades. And we're also promoting that healthy lifestyle living. And again, this year we're also promoting Urban October, where we are also promoting active citizenship, active living, good lifestyle. But more importantly for us, we are raising awareness about our entity. We've realized that a lot of people are not aware about what we do. So we are raising awareness. We are being out there in the public, out there in all the big events that are happening in the country. We want them to be aware that they need to register with us as the ombud of the community schemes. If you are staying in an estate, in a complex, we're asking you to go and check if they are registered. If they are not, please tell them to come and register with us. On top of it, we want them to comply. Compliance is in form of them submitting their conduct rules to us, as well as bringing their disputes to us so that we can resolve them for them.
Well, this is the beauty of partnership. On the one hand, Amshova get a supporter and a partner. On the other, you get to educate the public on something that we really don't ever get to talk and hear about.
Yes. That's why we are all here, and we are very happy with the activation. It's going quite well. Yesterday we were here with the expo. It went quite well. We had a water station in Pine Town that was in the rain, but it went very well. We are happy that it's a success.
Yeah, it certainly was a success. The weather didn't stop anybody from participating. And when I look around and listen, it didn't stop anybody from celebrating.
No, we saw the weather was saying 100% rain. It's like we are here, we're going to do it. And even last year it was raining.
Yeah.
Even this year it's raining. It's a blessing. We know in our African culture, when it rains, it's a blessing. So we are here, and we want to congratulate all the winners. We are happy. We saw a lot of women also participating in the event, but that makes us very happy and very exciting that we actually supported such a big event like this.
You are part of a formal partnership when it comes to this race, but the residents of the city of Durban, of Pietermaritzburg, of the town of Howick are also partners in the same endeavor. And I was hearing, as the mayor was speaking earlier, also the race organizer as well, is that you can't really do it without the buy-in of members of the public. And it's wonderful that they now know where to turn their attentions should they need help when it comes to regulation and compliance.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're actually on a drive for scheme registrations. We're also on a drive for scheme to pay their levies. So we are out here, we are showing ourselves, and we're calling out for compliance and full compliance of all the community schemes.
Who would be the best person to get hold of you? Would it be the individual residents or would it be the body's corporate?
Everybody who stays in a scheme, the owners, the trustees, board of directors in an HOA, everybody is responsible to ensure that their scheme is compliant. So even if you're an owner, you can go to your trustees and ask them if they have registered, ask for the certificate that CISOS has given them. And if not, you can assist them to register. We've got a CISOS Connect, www.CISOS.connect. It's a system where you just go and register from the comfort of your home. You don't need to go outside to register. Just there, register, and all the compliance requirements are also on the website.
And what kind of muscle do you bring into the party for non-compliers?
We are the only regulator, that's the first part, and we are the ombudsman, right? So our CISOS Act enables us to enforce that. We do issue non-compliance notices. We do follow up with schemes from time to time for them to comply. And I must say we're seeing an increase in our compliance rate. Last year we were sitting around 60% compliance. Now this year, as at end of March, we're sitting at 65% compliance rate. So if we're going out like this and doing awareness and raising the brand, now the schemes are aware about what we do. And actually the more beneficial is that we can help them with their disputes that are experiencing in the particular scheme. You could be oppressed about not practicing your traditional events. So if their rules are not constitutionally correct, you bring your rules to us. The way each scheme is supposed to have conduct rules or management rules. They must bring their rules to us, and then we will quality assure their rules. We will give them a certificate if their rules are not oppressing anyone. And if they are, we tell them to amend. After they've amended, we issue them a Section 10 certificate, and then they're able to run their schemes properly.
And the best way to get hold of you online?
www.cisos.org.za. We also have all the social media handles. We are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn, and our website is fully functioning. There's a chat bot on our website that you can chat with the immediate response. Right. Got a call center running throughout, so we are available, fully available.
No, I am educated this morning. Thank you so much, and for educating the public as well. And may that message continue to spread. And thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, X.
Igama lami ngikhwezi ngojana. I'm from Palm Ridge. So ngisakishela iClub athi team asidlali nawo. So bengithanda ukubonga kuSisos ukuthi isponsile ukuthi ngejezi ukuthi isibhadalele ama-entry fees ngene race. Ngithanda ukubonga kakhulu. Ngiphinde ngibonga ukuthi icycling isikhiphe entweni eziningi nasemalokishini ukuthi singangeni kuma-drugs. So mina na 2 years ngiqalile ukucyclisha. So ngiyayibonga icycling ukuthi ngikhiphe entweni eziningi.
So this is an annual event. The city welcomes Amshova National Classic 2024. We are really grateful, and we want to express our gratitude to the sponsors because they not only promote this event, but they also promote the city as well. And this, what it means to us as the city, is that it boosts the tourism industry. I can tell you as we speak that the hospitality industry is happy that we keep receiving such events into the city, confirming that the city is a destination of choice for people who come here for conferences, who come here for entertainment, who come here just for anything that you think Durban is capable of offering. In Durban, you'll find something that you'll not find anywhere else in the country. So that's how excited we are. That's the reason why we are here. Supporters, or to support us, please continue to support events like this, because you not only support the event, but you also support the creation of jobs within the city of Durban.
Well, it's been a phenomenal day here, and look, the rain certainly was teeming down earlier. The conditions, we saw warnings in the lead up to the actual race, and they were well founded. We saw that the adverse conditions, though, would have impacted one or two of the riders, particularly amongst the back markers, but the elite riders seem fairly unfazed by it all, putting together some really good times, and it has not affected the spirits here at all. So this is us signing off from Amshova National Challenge 2024. Thank you for joining us.